Yeah, my name is Kayode Ojo. I'm from Ekiti in Ekiti State of Nigeria. I'm an engineer by profession, and of course, ventured to the political theater of contesting for the governor of Ekiti State. I was born 51 years ago. I'm a professional engineer. I schooled here in Nigeria. I live here in Nigeria. So I believe I understand the problems of Nigeria. And, uh, and I want to be part of the solution rather than part of people complaining. I think it's the responsibility of every one of us, every single one of us Nigerians, to look at, okay, what are the problems we have? How far have we gone with resolving those problems, and then what can each one of us contribute to fix these problems? And I, for one, does not really believe that these problems are unsolvable. I believe it's something that we can really take care of if we all come together as one, with a common sense of purpose, and also with the idea at the back of our mind that we really need and want to work for our country. I don't really want to ascribe my political ideas to like particular town or area of Ekiti State. I'm an Ekiti boy. I'm proud that I'm from Ekiti, and I really always talk in the context of Ekiti. Talking about my dad married 11 women. A majority of them are from Ekiti and outside. And every single one of them is my mom. So I can ascribe myself to every town and village of one of my various mothers, because we were quite close. My dad brought us up, even though we were so many with different women, he brought us up in a very close, neat arrangement. So you barely know from whose womb did you come out. So we go to everybody's hometown, at some point and everything. So basically, I think we should talk in the context of Ekiti as a whole. Ekiti presently will require someone who has a background in fixing infrastructure, somebody who is a development person, who can relate with the people in the diaspora, international community, and who can also take that and juxtapose it with the people at home. And we can look at the local condition, with the international arrangement, with the national outlook, and come with a robust development package. So basically, what we are looking at is executing a master plan. And I can tell you, I remember speaking to the current governor, and he showed me that they've done like a master plan. Because our own plan was to come in and do a master plan. Within 6 months, come with a master plan for the whole state. Because you can't build something or nothing. But they have done something, which I'm still looking forward to take a look at, and then see how we can work it out. And then we can take development based on that master plan, and we can start in a strategic way of fixing things rather than the haphazard nature that we've always done things generally in Nigeria. So basically, I'm an Ekiti boy, and I love Ekiti. I love the Pandemia. We need to advance the community, various communities that we live in. My community, for example, needs infrastructure. They need resources. We need jobs. We need jobs for the teeming youths, even the older people. All the business people there, they need finance. Cheap money to be able to expand their various small SME enterprise and everything, to be able to continue to advance themselves and also advance the community. So basically, I would say that's what we need at this time. Because there's no place that can really grow or develop without without the necessary infrastructure and the financial arrangement that will spur growth for businesses and also the common man. So that's basically what we need at this time. And for me, helping others is natural. It's in my DNA. That's how I was born. I mean, I was born always looking at how I can help the fellow guy or woman. So helping people is just natural for me, and I'll continue to do that. And it's not something I really want to kind of amplify and talk about or hype in the media. So because for me, it's just what I've been doing day to day, every day. Even before I joined partisan politics, I've always assisted people, not only in my community, but all over the country and even outside Nigeria. I help people a lot. You know, I believe in supporting others. So that's who I am. Well, number one, you know, I mentioned infrastructure. You know, we don't really have modern infrastructure. I would even say, maybe apart from Abuja and a couple of places in Nigeria, we don't really have modern infrastructure. And you need infrastructure to support development. You know, you don't have good, expansive road. You don't have good access to the farms because we're a rural state. You know, how can produce get to the market? So basically, I think we need to invest massively on infrastructure. And when you invest on infrastructure, it will trickle down to the common man. You know, the money spent will get to the man down there, you know, to the fruit seller, the people selling drinks, the hospitals, real estates will come up. I believe that infrastructure is the key to our economic emancipation in Ekiti. And also to be able to bring in people, you know, to make Ekiti a destination, not only for Nigerians, also for people in diaspora and also the international community. To achieve that, number one, you have to start with a pilot infrastructure, which is having something like how do you get people into the state? For example, you need an airport, you need good access route or rail or whatever. Right now, we know we are challenged by the highways in Nigeria. If you travel from Lagos to Ekiti now, in those days, I remember, it used to take us about 3.5 hours from Lagos. But now it could take you sometimes 7, 9 hours, sometimes 10 hours because of the nature of the roads, traffic, some portions have failed and all those things. So the number one thing I believe we ought to do, which is gladly is being done by the present administration, is the airport in Ekiti, which is currently under construction. And by the time we have the airport, that will open the space for people to fly in. Because in Ekiti presently, most of our people, their purchasing power is low. So if we don't get people into the state, you know, to come and spend some money, help us, you know, with all the infrastructure, so money can trickle down to the pockets of the people. Even if you manufacture anything, who's going to buy? With what money? Okay? And as we all know today, in Nigeria of today, the federal allocation is dwindling. So they could get approximately about 3 billion to 3.5 billion naira a month, which is a chicken change, you know. That can't even scratch the surface, talk less of solving our problem. So we're going to need a lot of investment. We're going to need all the people in the diaspora to come in and invest, come and do something, no matter how little it is in the state. But we know we must support them with the basic infrastructure, which include having the airport, helping to resolve the power issue. I mean, we can have considerable power and water, sewage system, all these basic infrastructure, healthcare, you know, some good schools. So these are all the things that we need to, we already plan, we have a plan to figure out to resolve, you know, on a small scale, then we take it on a bigger scale as we progress into the administration by the special grace of God. Well, the healthcare system was, I would say, the condition was tough, and it's still tough, but it has improved a little bit because the present administration has actually embarked on rehabilitation of about, I think, 21 to 30 primary healthcare centers and some general hospitals. And then they've put in some investments at the College of Health Technology that is training all the nurses and all the midwives and all those things. So there's some progress in that area. But the progress is hampered by lack of fund, lack of resources. So what we need to do now is to find some kind of partnership, like a PPP arrangement and some partnership with major healthcare corporations worldwide, and then bring in a proper, massive healthcare infrastructure that will be located in Ekiti State. So we can tap into all these healthcare tourism, people flying to India for treatment, people going to Egypt for treatment. If they can get maybe that quality or even better quality of care in Ekiti. Somebody from Kano will not go to Egypt, they will come to Ekiti. Somebody from Lagos will not go to India, they will come to Ekiti for these various whatever treatment they have. So this is part of the thing that we're looking at fixing. And we know we cannot do it by ourselves. We can't do it with 3 billion naira every month. So we have to talk to the various organizations overseas who's going to bring hundreds of millions of dollars in healthcare infrastructure that will be located in Ekiti. And then, of course, we have some arrangement with the doctors. Even Nigerians, in diaspora, the doctors, whether they can rotate in, for weeks there and rotate out. And then we can develop capacities over time. I want to make Ekiti, the healthcare capital of this country, whereby you have first-class healthcare, not only the infrastructure, you can even have infrastructure. If you do not have the manpower, the experienced manpower, it's as good as not doing anything. So we must be able to attract all these expertise, from overseas, from local, and also train all our young people that are coming up. So, Ekiti is a community with the most number of professors per household. So we must bring those back, both in healthcare and in other, of course, areas of expertise. Well, I've mentioned to you that the federal allocation is just nothing. The federal allocation is so meager, it can barely even pay the salaries of the civil servants. As of today, as I understand, we have about 62,000 workers. That's state civil service. So the 3 billion is barely enough to pay their salaries. So how can you develop when you don't have money? And if we go borrowing, I think we were probably at the upper limit of our borrowing capacity. So nobody's really going to borrow us much money. And then the other area that is presently being worked on is, development partners, EU, AF, African Development Bank, ADB, and all those people providing some kind of funding left, right, and center, and all these non-governmental organizations that give grants and all those things. Those ones are trying, but they can't even still scratch the surface. So we have another program that we're already developing, is to tap into all the idle funds all over the world. On this interview, I can't really tell you the details, but we know where the bodies are buried. So we will find them, and we will bring the money in without burdening the state, and we will spend the money to the benefit of the people and the state. And the Ekiti State will be a shining house on the hill very, very soon, by God's grace. Well, I've been working since 1992. I've witnessed development of new towns, new communities, overseas, and also with my background in oil and gas that I worked for so many years. Oil and gas is a business that is properly set up, is process driven, and is not a place where you can work haphazardly. Everything requires planning. So based on that, I've been exposed to planning from beginning to the end. And I'm also a planner. So therefore, I believe those experiences, both local and international, will help in making decisions on what we ought to do to advance the economic interests of the people, and what we ought to do, what is the priority, like what is the priority needs of the people, to be able to prioritize what would benefit the people now, later, and of course on the long run. And I've also, to the glory of God, I have businesses locally, I have businesses internationally, and I've done this for decades. And we've been able to manage them. Managing the people is not, should not be a problem. I believe at this point that what we need now is to see Ekiti or any state in Nigeria. We have to start thinking like that state is a country, so that you can focus on all your needs. It's not that you are waiting for federal government to come in and help you with everything. We can all see where we are today. The debt profile of the country has increased, and most of the revenues are being used to service debt, which has reduced the allocation to the various states. So if we do not think about how to be self-sustaining, then we're going to continue to have problems whereby at the end of the day we'll not be able to pay salaries of the workers. So I believe that with the entrepreneurial ideas, experience, with international exposure, and also the fact that I'm grounded on the local arrangements with, being in Ekiti, relating with the people over these couple of years, that I'm of course ready, capable, able, and available to lead the people, to a greater glory. I'm not a messiah. I don't know everything, but I will work with all the brains, bring in all our people, for us to come together. And then for us to forget our greed. We should suspend our greed and work for the people, work for our country. I'm extremely concerned that there's not a single country in the world predominantly inhabited by black people that is successful. This is what we need to change. And we can start from it, and we will do so. Absolutely. We need all the people in the diaspora because they have, I know they have better technical experience. If you work in an hospital in London or in New York, you have access to better equipment. There's no doubt about it, better training. So that training, that experience, if you bring it home, apart from you saving life, you're also training the people that will be working down there. You understand? So it is in other professions. If you are the guy building roads in Texas, you understand, you are more exposed to better techniques, technology than we that were here. So those are all the experience that we need to be brought in to be able to help our development. Then of course, we need the finance from the diaspora. We need people to come and set up businesses here, no matter how small. No matter how little, come and employ. Even if it's one person you can employ, the person that can employ 2, the one that can do 20 people. If people come and segmented like that, we'll take a lot of people out of this unemployment space. So we need the diaspora, we need the people in the diaspora, because the people in the diaspora are also the ones that have a little bit higher purchasing power. So all these factors, if you add it together, you realize that the people in the diaspora are going to be extremely key, to the development and upliftment of Ekiti, and even Nigeria as a whole. So we cannot, I'm talking to the people in the diaspora now, they cannot continue to sit down there and criticize, say how bad it is, how there's this, there's that, this one is wrong, that is wrong. What have you done? What have you tried to do to solve this problem? What is your contribution, to fixing the problem? And you can contribute. It's not all of you. Everybody cannot be a politician. Everybody cannot contest election. But have you tried to get involved by reaching out to the people contesting? And how much businesses have you tried to set up at home? It's not enough to send money to your parents, your brothers and sisters. That's like giving them fish. You must teach them how to fish. You must set up transactions here. That's the only way out of this situation that we're in right now. Everybody knows that most things in Nigeria have gone down, except, of course, telephone service that we have massive improvement on. Electricity is down, education is down, roads are down, despite all this massive investment we hear. Now, let me tell you something. Education, I think, is two-part. It's about infrastructure, which are the school buildings, the surroundings, and everything. And then the teachers, the administration. If you look at it today, you have to try and see what is the quality of our teachers, the people that were assigned to teach all these students. I've had the experience of talking to people presently who are teachers. They can't even speak one sentence of English correctly. And these are teachers in our schools. What is that person going to teach the children when he or she can't even speak proper English? This is not to say that every teacher is like that. We have great teachers now in school also, because I relate with the teachers, and we know there are some teachers that are still very good. But those teachers that are good are being hampered by the infrastructure. Some of our classrooms are not okay. Most classrooms don't even have a functional toilet. You understand? And the children don't have, most schools now don't even have places where children can run around, play football, do sports, and do all this. It's part of learning. So I think we have to address it by, number one, standardizing the infrastructure. Proper standard. Let's say we even take the minimum model of the way the schools are in South Africa and build all our schools to that level. Minimum. We can then take it up to the level of schools in the UK or in the United States and all those places. Then, of course, we have to look at the training of the teachers. Is it adequate? If it's not adequate, then we have to fix it. Then, apart from the training, we have to also make teaching very, very, what's the English for that? Incentivize the teaching profession. Make sure that they get good benefits. Our teachers, give them health insurance. You understand? Make sure that their salaries are proper due value in line with the current economic realities on the ground in the country, which of course is going to attract significant investment in amount of money. But I think that is the route we have to go, because sitting here, I went to government school from beginning to the end. I did not go to any private school. And it's in this country, from primary, secondary, university. So I'm a beneficiary of good education provided by government. So it's been done before, it can be done again. It's possible. So this is why is a priority, because children are the future. They are future leaders. And it's not everybody that can afford expensive private schools and all those. And I can tell you also, it doesn't mean that the private schools are actually even much, much better than the government schools. Maybe in terms of infrastructure, the buildings are better. So all those things are things that we're definitely going to look at. Because we want to make this person know that. Because I want people to come in to invest in Ekiti. And if you come to live in Ekiti, where are you going to put your children? They have to go to schools. They have to have access to good hospitals. So this is part of the key infrastructure that I've been talking about that is extremely important that we put in a good shape for everybody to see. I believe the people are less patriotic today than we were back when I was a kid. And I may not be completely right, or maybe not, I may not be able to adduce the total reason why that it is. I also think that advancement of technology has also affected some kind of patriotism. Because I remember also when I was a little child, we were, for example, in sports, we were die-hard fans of IICC Shooting Stars, Rangers International, Bendel Insurance, NNB of Benin, Spartans of Owerri, Ranchers Bees and Kano, Academy Warriors in Maiduguri, and Up Super, stationery stores in Lagos. Of course, we used to watch Bundesliga in those days. I think they showed maybe one Saturday or something. They were not live matches. They were recorded matches and everything. So, but now, everybody in Nigeria is a fan of Chelsea or Man U. I mean, every little thing we have to ascribe to it. Because if you look at the massive cash outflow to all these organizations over there from here, it's a lot. Some people actually fly from here to Emirates, to all these stadiums to watch live matches. You understand? But if stationary stores, I don't think they're still there. If they have a match at Onikon Stadium, you barely find people to go there to go and see. So that one is another perspective. But generally, on the other perspective, is also the pervasive corruption that has happened. You know, I mean, it's not that we were not corrupt at that time, but the level now has become exponential. And then people see political office as a place to be served and to make money rather than to serve. So, and you can't have those two things together. You cannot be patriotic when you're stealing. It's not, you can't talk and eat at the same time. So this is part of the problem that I think we have in this country. Everybody, like they say, the number of people waiting to steal are more than the people already stealing. So it's a problem. So it's going to need a lot of leadership, and it's going to need leadership by example, not only by the president but by the people that is appointed to all the various federal and state positions to understand that how much money do we really need as an individual? What are the real basic necessities of life that you need? And then if you look at the lifestyle of these Europeans, especially Europeans, they are so conservative and they manage basic things. They don't need so much. Why do you need 20 houses? Why do you need 5 houses? For what? How many rooms can you sleep? How many, even on your bed, you can't even cover the whole bed. Talk less of sleeping in another room. So this greed, the exponential increase in our greed, I think has also led us to be less patriotic. So these are part of the things that need systemic correction. We have a leadership problem. Leadership is not only the president or the head of state or the governor. You understand? And also, we also have a followership problem. It's both leadership, followership, and systemic problem. Because as I tell you today, if you go to a rally in Ekiti, or maybe you have 50 people there, and you call one person and say, take 500 naira or 5,000 naira, make sure everybody gets money to go home by transport. The most likely thing that will happen, that guy is going to try to also corner some of the money. That's a followership problem. You understand? People also don't want to put in a hard day shift of work. It is a problem. Then from there to the leadership, whereby the leader is just doesn't care. All the leader wants to do is just to enjoy whatever largesse that is opportunity or the infrastructure that the office avails them. You know, nobody is really struggling and working for the country. Very few people do in today's Nigeria. That is the pure truth. Everybody is looking for what is the need for me, what is the need for me. And for how long are we going to continue to do that? It is time for purposeful people that have the fear of God and that is ready to serve, not to be served. I think to fix this problem is possible. Number one, is possible. And I believe that we have to work on the system. There's going to be a little bit of systemic change in how we approach governance. For example, all these things that is attached to political office, we need to de-emphasize it. Make those offices a place that you really come to serve. For example, if we say the National Assembly becomes a part-time place whereby you don't actually get paid. It's just a place where you go, you serve your community, and you are paid just your transport allowance, which you submit like a receipt, exact amount of money you spend, and they give you back. You will attract real people to that place. People that are committed to the growth of the country. It's not somebody that just want to go there to say, which money is there? So, number one, that system, we need to somehow figure it out to de-emphasize on all these largesse that is in the government offices. Then all these razzmatazz that are associated with being a governor, that everybody is falling over their heels for you. We do like they do in Europe now. A mayor, you carry your bag. You enter the train with others. You understand? So if we take all these offices into that level, I think we'll be able to get much more committed people to come in and serve. And they'll be able to work hard and work for the people. So that's one of the solutions that I think we have. And of course, the other solution is to make sure that every town, every city, every state come up with a master plan. Proper master plan, which there will be an external body that looks at, okay, this is your master, what have you achieved this year? Vis-a-vis your budget. Like a review commission. That this is not all these abracadabra, all these fake story of, I've done this, I've done that. Because if you look at the states in Nigeria, there's no governor that has ever led any states in Nigeria that will tell you, I did bad. Everybody say, I did very well. I've done this, I've done that. But yet, we barely can see anything anywhere in the country. So all these ideas, we need to try and figure it out, because Nigerian situation is very unique. So we must address the uniqueness of our problem with a unique solution. If we don't do that, we cannot apply the system of United Kingdom or United States here. It will not work. It won't work. Because our people, their orientation is completely different from what it is over there. So if you bring that solution, it will not work. So we must devise our own local solution, with which everybody will realize that you have to work. And it's only people that work gets benefits. And then people that run foul of the law are punished accordingly. Yeah, everybody does whatever they do, and everybody gets scot-free. So what is the consequence for bad behavior? Zero. All that also must change. I believe if we focus on that, then we can now focus on proper planning, proper integration of all the states together in terms of infrastructure. It will improve our security. I keep telling people, when you build up an area, you reduce insecurity. Kayode Ojo. I'm no different than you. Ah, I'm not better than you. I'm like you. I'm your brothers. You are my brothers, you are my sisters. We have a duty to start advancing the economic benefit, to tap into the abundance that is available in Ekiti. And I cannot do it alone. We have to do it together.